G'day everyone. Well, now that it's bloody hot, and believe me, it is very hot today. It's 40 degrees Celsius. Well, that's just a guess. I heard it was 40 degrees C quite a number of hours ago, and it could even have gotten hotter than that. One of the most important aspects of car maintenance is the cooling system, because it's a pain in the ass when it overheats, and you know, it's very inconvenient, especially when you're in the country and you know you can't just pull over it on the side of the freeway. Aside from the fact that you might get hit by something, there's actually nothing there to pull up to, because there's petrol stations every, I'm going to say about 10 kilometre lengths, or more, but yeah, you can't walk 10 k's. Well, you can, but not in 40 degrees. So you've flushed out your cooling system, you've replaced hoses, so you get nice new radiator hoses, and it's got no leaks. You're running coolant, not just corrosion inhibitor. If you can't afford coolant, at least run the correct ratio of Castrol corrosion inhibitor, because you've got an alloy head. At least you don't want that to corrode out, because who wants to do a head gasket? This thing really needs a head gasket doing, because it's sat in a paddock for quite a number of years, and well, look, the head's probably corroded a little bit. You probably won't see much, but you should zoom in a bit. That crap running down the side of the block, zoom too far in, there we go, that shit running down the side of the block, it's not a Welsh plug, it's actually the cylinder head leaking between the block and the cylinder head external. And a really important aspect of the car maintenance, which a lot of people, including me, overlook, is no, not this bit, because if you look at it, look, it's perfectly clean. But between the condenser for the air conditioning and the radiator, this little seal strip, and you probably won't see anything, but try and zoom in. No, you're not going to see it, but it's full of shit. It's absolutely chock-a-block. You can see a little bit of crap poking out there, but if I pull this off all the way, this thing is actually chock-a-block. So there you go, you can see it now. So yeah, don't forget to clean it out. The other thing is, this radiator is actually just about screwed. It's not the original one, it's an Adrad one, which is neither here nor there. The tank's not leaking. It's got a little bit of brown water there, but that's just from me. But if I go over here, where these tubes join onto the tank, it's been leaking. Now, the green on the tube in the middle of the shot is the dye in the coolant, and that's one of the two reasons they put dye in coolant. The second reason is to identify that there's coolant in the cooling system, but the most important reason is to identify a leak, because you mightn't even notice the leaks there. So pretty important stuff. Cable off down there, I don't know what that's from. It was on gas, I don't think that's important. It'll be like, I don't know, it'll be like for climate control or something, because these things, yeah, they've got half the loom for it if they didn't come with it. It's a bit hard to explain, but Ford made one loom in this era. Cheaper to make a car that way, but anyway, don't forget to clean that out. The best way to do it is to pull the radiator out. Now, from memory, there's a bolt on each side, and this is in an EB Falcon. There's no actual bolts that hold the bottom of the radiator in. It just has two pegs. This is from memory, so if I'm wrong, don't blow my head off. But I think there's two pegs that go into rubber bushes. Yeah, pull it off, clean it out, and if your radiator's leaking, either have it repaired or replace it. Now, this radiator is, and I know for a fact, it's a brass core radiator, although it's got plastic tanks. So in reality, you could have it soldered up and repaired, and they do re-tank radiators. you got to weigh up whether it's worth doing or not, because the chances are it's not. And the reason is, you know, I think it's like $100 nowadays to have a radiator re-tanked. And if the core is absolutely perfect, go for it. If it's brass, re-tank it. They clean it. Excuse me, they clean it out. Yeah, not a bad idea. The second thing that I've done to this car, this has just caught my eye, and I've been meaning to do a video on it, but not worth doing a separate video on. This car was on LPG, or propane as you'd call it in other parts of the world, and propane and petrol or gasoline. And the reason why, it was cheap to run, blah blah. But anyway, the reason why I'm mentioning this is the supply line from the fuel tank, and it's not being done very well. I've just cable tied it to the I think it's the high side of the AC system, and I meant to make a bracket up, but so this is a supplementary fuel filter. If your car's been running on gas for a very long time, sorry, I mean propane, so as I don't confuse anybody. If your car runs on propane and you bought it like that and the fuel pump was dead or whatever, consider that the lines are probably going to be full of crap, because when petrol or gasoline ages off, it the shit that's formed in the chemical reaction of the gasoline aging off coats the insides of the fuel lines. So ditch the rubber hose that goes into the rail and put a fuel filter. This is just the same exact fuel filter that the car has underneath it. It's just a Ford part number. I don't even know who made the filter, some aftermarket company. The other most important thing to remember is if you are stuffing around with the fuel system. Now, this is not true with every single car ever made, but a majority of cars, that's the supply line. It goes straight into the fuel rail. It's got no regulator on it, so supply straight into the rail, no regulator. The pressure regulator here, that controls the fuel pressure in two ways. One is the fact that it has a spring and diaphragm, and it uses manifold vacuum to regulate the fuel pressure, and it also uses fuel pressure that bypasses the valve and, you know, pushes the diaphragm up against the spring. So that's the return line. Don't hook the supply line up to it, because it's not going to work, and it will very likely do damage to something. So, and aside from that, it'll run like crap. If you're working on a fuel system, it goes without saying that scrupulous cleanliness is the only way to go. If the car's been on gas for a very long time, and it's, or propane, I keep meaning to call it. If it's run on propane for a very long time, the fuel rail's probably full of shit as well. And if you've ever worked on a lot of cars, it's like a brown sticky substance, and nothing really seems to get it off. And I'm sure there are proprietary solvents, and Carby Cleaner might do it. But, you know, well, another fuel rail for this without injectors is worth nothing. I mean, I can buy it for $10 Australian. You know, in reality, you get your Recoat injectors off eBay. They're just a Bosch fuel injector. They're nothing special. You can't do it yourself. They've got to be ultrasonically cleaned. I know people are going to disagree with me, but look, you know, there's clean and then there's clean. I mean, you pay the money, you get them cleaned. It's about $20 each. It's a bargain, because yeah, if you're gonna do part of the fuel system, you might as well do the whole lot. And if it's running like shit and it's been on propane all its life, consider that the pressure in the rail might be wrong. And I would be doing a fuel pump straight away, even if it works, because it'll probably shit itself and they're cheap anyway. And on an EV Falcon, they're very easy to do. You know, you can do them from inside the boot, not like a Commodore. But the pressure regulator is probably going to be stuffed as well. The injectors should just clean up. They don't. You know, sometimes you'll get one that's not that great, but that's my little maintenance rant for the day. And clean out your radiator. Yeah, between the condenser and the radiator, clean it out. Make sure there's no shit on it. Whether you live in Melbourne, Sydney, or you know, the middle of New South Wales outback or Victoria country or whatever, or outback, you know, give it a clean. You know, it's not going to keep the engine cool if it's got crap on the front of the radiator. And like I said, you really can't tell looking at the condenser, because, you know, look, it looks clean. It's, you know, it's not absolutely perfect, but it really does look clean. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys.